What is going on, all you Pokemon collectomaniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPapa, and today we're going to have a little fireside chat, and we're going to be talking about the hobby as a whole. Is it completely broken? Is it in a good space? Is what's broken possibly repairable? Like, where are we at with everything? Because my goodness, these Scarlet and Violet sets that have been dropping as of late between Prismatic Evolutions and Journey Together have certainly caused all kinds of upheaval out there in the market. And I just want to say this straight off the bat. Like, yes, there are some areas that I think need improvement, but the areas that aren't broken, I think are very, very healthy. And the thing that's important to remember right now is all of this is being caused by demand. Every single pain point, every single website crashing, every single person who's out there blaming different subsets of the community for this or that, like, all of that is being driven because the demand in Pokemon cards is darn near an all-time high, or at least as high as we've seen since the pandemic, which is absolutely incredible to think about. And when you're thinking about a hobby as a whole, when you're thinking about a market in general, I promise you this, it is much harder and much more expensive to drive demand up than it is to drive supply up, right? So think about that. If you want to drive demand, if you want to drive interest, if you want to drive excitement in a product and you're the parent company, you've got to go out and spend marketing, you have to do R&D, like you have to do all of these things. But guess what? Because Pokemon does not have that problem right now, they get to focus their time on trying to meet that demand. They get to ramp up production, which is fun, which is more exciting, which is, you can model that out much easier because you know that when you launch a new product, like with Journey Together yesterday, it's going to sell out. So that makes it much, much easier. It is much easier to ramp production where we have the problem than it is to ramp demand where we certainly don't have a problem with demand right now. So I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted to bring that up before we even get into this video because there are certainly some pain points in the hobby right now. My gosh, it breaks my heart that not everybody has the opportunity to get their hands on the products that they want. That's the bottom line. We all know it. Here on the screen right now, I have two graphics. I screenshotted these and I was sending it to my family yesterday as I was going through my own struggles with trying to acquire some Journey Together product. I mean, the Pokemon Center website crashed and then for whatever reason, I got blocked. I guess it thought I was a bot because I kept trying to get access to it. I did end up prevailing. I was able to get two Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. I was able to order one case of booster boxes as well. So I was very excited and very fortunate to be able to get my order through. But as I said, not everybody was able to do the same thing, and that does make me sad. Now, throughout the course of the video, we're going to talk about Prismatic Evolutions here in a minute. Obviously, we're going to talk about Journey Together. I'm going to talk about how I think there's going to be opportunity to get these products further into the future. And I'm going to talk about the fact that, hey, listen, we don't always get what we want, as sad as that may sound. And I think that this blip in the radar, where the demand is so much higher than production, in the long run, I think is going to be a good thing for all of us, because I promise you, the Pokemon Company is a for-profit company. They want to sell as much of this as they possibly can. So they are going to be doing things on the back end to try and meet this demand, because at the end of the day, they don't want anybody rage quitting the hobby. They don't want anybody to leave. They want all of us to be in here and enjoy and have so much fun that we stay Pokemon collectors for years and years down the road. And the thing about Pokemon that's so incredibly special to me is that there's many different avenues to enjoy this hobby. You can play the games, right? You can play the card game, you can play the digital game, you can collect cards for fun, you can collect master sets, you can invest. Like I do two different things. I live in two different worlds. So you all know that I am a big believer that in the long run, these products are going to appreciate in value, and I believe at or equal to the same rate as the stock market. I'm heavily invested in the stock market. This is just a side gig for me. But I do think that as an alternative investment, this has an awesome opportunity to grow over time. So I certainly approach this from an investment perspective. However, I also approach this from what I think is an even more healthier and even more fun perspective. And that's because I get to share this hobby with my children. Now, these are my two kids right here. For Christmas, I got each of them a Surging Sparks booster box, and I bought it early on. I think I pre-ordered both of them for $150 each. Now, when the time Christmas came, those booster boxes were $210 each, right? And, we could have put them in the Poke Closet and bought a cheaper booster box and given them something to open, and they probably would have been just as excited. But guess what? That's not what this is about. They're huge Pikachu fans. I knew those Surging Sparks booster boxes gave them the best opportunity to possibly pull some Pikachu cards, and they did. They didn't get the big expensive ones, but they each got to pull a Pikachu EX there. And my oldest daughter actually pulled the Latias Special Illustration Rare, and then you'll see my youngest daughter there that her favorite is Squirtle, and so she pulled, or she didn't pull, but we purchased her the illustration where Squirtle from Stellar Crown. And so, you know, now they each have cards. You see that they're all card saver 1-up. We're going to send them to PSA. I'll tell you right now, neither of those cards are going to get a PSA 10, but we're sending it through because it's going to be a core memory for us. It's going to be from Christmas 2024, and as they get older, they'll look back, they'll remember. Like, for me, that's what the hobby is all about. Whenever I get discouraged or whenever I start to feel bad, like I didn't get these products that I wanted, or man, you know, everything is getting so expensive, I just kind of realign myself back to the core of why I do this. I do this because I've always really loved and really enjoyed collecting cards. I collected sports cards at a very high level, high investing level for over 20 years. And then 4 years ago, my 2 kids came to me and said they really wanted to get into Pokemon. And I can enjoy Pokemon in a way that I could never enjoy sports cards because I get to do it with my family. So I know we're going to talk a lot about the investing side of things. I know we're going to talk about supply and demand and how one of them is way out of whack right now. We're going to talk about the cool products and how we might have to pay over MSRP. We're going to talk about all of that. But I do think that it's also very important, at least for me, to come back and ground myself from time to time why I do this. And I do this because I love sharing the journey with you all out there. I do this because I love being a part of it with my family out there. And I do it because it's just a ton of fun. And the cherry on top is that I do think there's going to be some opportunity for some big rewards. But I do understand how it can be frustrating, and everybody should be frustrated if you didn't get what you wanted. I was super fortunate because, you know, I was on the West Coast this week. I was actually in Las Vegas. I was at CES. And so if you were out there and you weren't up as early as I was flying home, so I was at the airport. I mean, this dropped really early West Coast time. So the challenge would be, maybe you didn't even know this had dropped. Maybe by the time you woke up, brushed your teeth, got your breakfast, you went on the Pokemon Center website and it was already gone. And that's a really tough pill to swallow. So I totally understand that. But now let's get in the video. Let's start talking about some of the things that are going right, and then let's start talking about some of the things where we have areas of opportunity. But I certainly don't think the hobby is broken. I'm going to say that right now. I think we're really strong in the area that we need to be strong, and I think the area that the hobby needs to fix, and by the hobby I mean Pokemon Company International, I think the area that needs to be fixed, I think they can easily address. Maybe not as quickly as we want, but I think it will be addressed, and in the long run, I think the hobby's going to be better for it. So I feel really good. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the challenges and get into the video a little bit. So obviously, you know I am obsessed with Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. I have been ever since Crown Zenith. If you watch this channel at all, you know I talk about them ad nauseum. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting that they did is now on the Pokemon Center website, at least here in the US, you have a limit of 2. It used to be you could buy as many as you wanted. I remember buying 151 in Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. I just bought cases and cases and cases because they were in stock for a long period of time and there was no limit on them. I could buy 4, and then a week later, if I felt like I wanted some more, I could buy more. And then even after they launched, there was a window of opportunity. So I have many cases of those because I felt back then that there was going to be a great opportunity for long-term price appreciation. Starting with Prismatic Evolutions, they've pulled that back. That's a good thing, right? Like, we don't want people out there when it's in such high demand. They're trying to peanut butter spread it across as many people who want it as possible. So even though I can't get nearly as many of these as I want, I still think it's a good thing because I think it's great for the hobby. Now, I did have to have a conversation with those 2 wonderful children you saw on the previous slide because traditionally we buy some and we keep them in the Poke Closet, but then we also always open 2 Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. They each get to open 1, and I'm trying to build a PSA 10 collection of those stamped promos. Well, guess what? We're not going to do that this go around. We're still going to buy Journey Together product to open. We're going to open booster packs, but we're not going to open the Pokemon Center exclusive one because I'm only able to get my hands on 2. That's okay. That's part of life, right? There's life lessons along this whole thing, but I got my 2. I'm actually happy that they put that that limit in order, and I guarantee you this is a product the Pokemon Company International is already talking about producing more of in the future. Now, with that being said, as soon as this sold out and as soon as I kind of got my wits about me, I thought, okay, this was on a couple hours ago, right? At the PokemonCenter.com website, it sold out. I thought, let's go to eBay and see if people are already listing these. And not only were they already listing them, some of them were already being sold. So this is the downside of the hobby, right? This is the quote-unquote scalping side where people simply got these pre-orders in order to flip them in a very short fashion in order to make a quick buck. So you'll see that one sold for about $235 there, and then the other one below is from the UK. That sold for about $230 or pounds there, right? And then the one below is about $260. $60 that had already sold. So people are already selling these. Again, this was hours after the product was launched. People are already selling these. And no matter what hobby you're in, no matter what, investing or collecting space you're in, you're going to have elements of this. It's just going to happen. Whenever money's at play, people find nefarious ways to kind of capitalize on opportunities. And that's what this is. So, don't rage quit over this. It's just part of what's going to happen. I do think Pokemon is going to put a solve into that long into the future. They've already started by reducing the number that you can pre-order down to 2. So trust me, they're aware of it. They're working on it. Doesn't help you right now. Still feel your pain, but they are going to put some process in the future. I have a very strong feeling, either by more production or to further stringent the way that it goes about buying this. But I thought that was really interesting. The other thing, of course, was the actual booster boxes themselves, right? They were available on the Pokemon Center website. And what was interesting about this is they're the enhanced booster boxes. And what was interesting about that is I don't think everybody knows that all of the booster boxes are going to have the promos in them, right? So box toppers are back. They went away for a long, long time. They haven't been around in forever. But then you have these enhanced booster boxes that were for sale on the Pokemon Center. However, all of them were. And not only did these sell out on the Pokemon Center, all the big box retailers that I went to sold out as well. So full transparency, I bought a case of these on the Pokemon Center. And then I also went to Forge and Fire, and I was able to buy a case of those at MSRP too. So I have 2 cases of booster boxes that are coming and 1 case of the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box all in. But then I did the same exercise. I went to eBay, and this is where things get a little bit wonky for me. I mean, you see the booster boxes are being sold. You see the one in big bold letters, Pokemon Center, Journey Together, Enhanced Booster Box. All of these are using the enhanced name in there, and you see, which it should, it is advanced, but you see all these prices, $2,200, $3,000, $2,750. I think people out there were probably trying to take advantage of that and saying that these were somehow, like the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box is exclusive. I think they were trying to say that this was exclusive to the Pokemon Center as well. So hopefully not a lot of people fell for it, but I do think it was a very interesting trick. And at the end, I'm going to talk about why I think it's absolutely marketing gold from the Pokemon Company to include these stamped promos in these booster boxes as well. So of course, as I said, we got to talk about Prismatic Evolutions. This is coming out on Friday, and another thing where just everything from stem to stern is sold out. People are feverish about this product. Now, I believe we will be able to get our hands on Prismatic Evolutions over the coming months. Now, it won't be easy, and guess what? You're gonna have to pay MSRP. We've lived in a world for so long where MSRP was a dirty word. Remember, we talk about back in the Sword and Shield era, you would buy booster boxes for well under MSRP for up to a year or longer, but now it just doesn't seem to be a case because, again, the demand is so incredibly high. So when you think about these Prismatic Evolutions products, again, they haven't even launched yet, and these are some of the actual sales that have happened on eBay as of yesterday. Again, I didn't cherry pick. I just pulled these up and looked at them, and you see case of the Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box sold for over $1,000, right? And then the other one below was a best offer accepted, but again, that's going to be over $1,000. Those surprise boxes, which I am a huge, huge, huge believer in. Look at them. They're almost 3x MSRP on eBay right now, and they're not even coming out until the second wave of Prismatic Evolution products come out. Like, it is just incredible what is going on with these products. Now, I promised you I would talk about why I feel a little better about Prismatic Evolutions, and that's because they're going with this kind of trickle-in approach when it comes to launching products, which I think is a fantastic way to do it. So obviously on Friday, we've got the ETBs, the PC ETBs, you got the binder, the poster, the text sticker collections. You have a big chunk that's coming out on January the 17th, but then they trickle all these other products in all the way out till September, all the way out till the 9th month of this year, almost into October of 2025. We're going to have Prismatic Evolution products kind of trickled in for a little bit. And think about it, they did a similar thing when it came to Crown Zenith, and we just saw a new Crown Zenith product come out not long ago in Sea and Sky, the box that was exclusive to Sam. So we might see an even longer, more elongated product drop for Prismatic Evolutions. We might see even more products that haven't even been announced yet come out all the way into year 1 or at the end of year 1 and towards into year 2. So we'll just have to see. No matter what, all of these are going to be wildly popular. I promise you, the Super Premium Collection and the Premium Figure Collection that come out in May and September respectively, people are going to be knife fighting over that. But my hope is that with this trickle-in effect, it's at least going to keep things at MSRP for a little bit longer than maybe we've seen in the past. So we'll have to see. Super exciting set, amazing cards in it, but I do like the approach that they're going with right here. And then the next thing I got to call out is the marketing side, which I'm a big fan of. They started off with these Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes, and everybody has just been going ham for them. Price has been going through the roof, and everybody loves it because of the stamped promo card. And then what did they do? They put a stamped promo card in the booster boxes. And what was exciting for me, and probably exciting for the Pokemon company as a whole, we saw it starting with Surging Sparks, and obviously now Journey Together, it happened immediately. But the booster boxes on the PokemonCenter.com, they sold out immediately. I mean, I don't know if you remember back in the day, but we would have the very last source to get your booster boxes in the past was the PokemonCenter.com. You would buy it from your LCS, you would buy it off eBay, you would buy it from anywhere else because it was cheaper. It was always for sale at MSRP on the PokemonCenter.com, and the last thing you wanted to do was pay MSRP. Like, it was literally a last resort. Well, now everything is selling at MSRP, whether you buy it on the secondary market, whether you buy it on the PokemonCenter.com. Like, MSRP is just the standard price, at least for now. And I guarantee you, with the Glory of Team Rocket, which is coming out, it's going to be the same thing. And again, that's not a bad thing. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with paying the price that the manufacturer thinks you should pay. And in some cases, I will probably even pay a little bit more. You know, I'm a big believer in buy what will go up, not what has gone up. I love to get things when I can, either in pre-order or on the day that they launch. But there might be a world, at least in the short term until they ramp up production, where I just have to pay a little bit of a premium. I'm not going to pay a high premium. If I miss on something, I miss on it. I don't lose sleep over it. Like, then it's just not meant to be. I'm not going to go out there and pay $250 for a Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box. I'm not going to pay $375 for a Journey Together pre-order booster box. I'm just not going to do it, right? It's okay to miss out on items. It's frustrating. It hurts. Nobody enjoys that process. But sometimes you just got to look in the mirror and go, well, I missed this one. Guess what? The good thing about Pokemon is they launch 8 gajillion new products a year. So there's going to be another one which is equally exciting and equally awesome in the long run, where you can take a good run at it. So that's it. That's my state of the hobby. The biggest takeaway for me is this thing is it is much easier to ramp production than it is to ramp demand. There was not years ago, not even all that long ago if you think about it, there was products that would just sit on the shelves at well below MSRP for 1, 2, 3 years after that product launch, simply because the demand wasn't there. You and I and everybody watching this channel, we're in a great spot where Pokemon is crazy high demand. They're going to have to work some kinks out, which they're in the process of doing, but in the long run, I think we're going to be really, really better off for it. So that's my take on it. I know everybody's out there doom and gloom, and I hate this group, and this group's causing the problem, and these people are the issue, and all that stuff, but that's just not how I view things. I view things as we got a lot of upside, and I'm very excited to be here. So I hope you guys have an epic one. I appreciate you watching more than I can say, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.